Madhav. Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Gopijana Vallabha. Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Gopijana Vallabha. Jaya Kunja Bihari, Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana, Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. This is small bhajan before we start our Krishna book reading today. And the beautiful prayer for Krishna and Radharani. Radharani is our internal potency of Krishna Bhagwan. So we always pray for the mercy of Radharani. So Radharani, when Radharani recommends us to Krishna, Krishna Bhagwan will get all the blessings of Krishna Bhagwan. So we should always pray both Radharani as well as Krishna Bhagwan. Hey Krishna, Karna Sindhu, Dinabandhu, Jagatpate, Gopisha, Gopika Kanta, Radha Kanta, Namostute, Taptakanchana, Gaurangi, Radhe, Vrindavaneshwari, Rishabhanu, Sute Devi, Pranamami, Hari Priye. Om Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Prashyata Deshatarini Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasudeva Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna. So as we always say, one beautiful sloka from Bhagavad Gita before we start Krishna book reading. Bhagavan Sri Krishna says how auspicious it is to listen to Krishna Katha. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti takritaha chakradeham punarjanma naiti mameti. So Arjuna, where Krishna Bhagavan himself is saying that one who listens to Krishna Katha, Krishna's Bhagavan's appearance, Krishna Bhagavan's leelas that we are all going to be reading shortly, even if one listens to these Krishna Katha, Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, once we leave this material world, we'll never come back here, but we will directly go to Krishna Loka, the most supreme planet. This is not something which we can do with any of a kind of endeavors that we do in this material world. But the beautiful thing about Krishna Bhakti and Krishna Leelas are that even by just listening, because of the 9 limbs of devotional service, of Bhakti life, the 9 limbs, Shravanam and Kirtanam. Shravanam means hearing the holy name, hearing the Krishna Katha. That is one of the limbs of Bhakti. And Kirtanam, actually chanting the holy names. And all Krishna Katha, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, even reading and understanding the knowledge from this Bhagavad Gita. This itself brings us to the lotus feet of Krishna, gives us all the mercy of Krishna. That Krishna is so kind, as we can see, these particular Krishna Kathas are so important because through the Krishna Katha, we can understand that it is so auspicious that by reading the Krishna Katha, we will get so much of knowledge and Vedic knowledge. This is the entire essence of Vedic knowledge you'll be able to get through this Krishna Katha. So there's so many takeaways that we can take from this Krishna Katha. Many times people, because they do not have the proper knowledge, they think like, what do we get by reading Krishna Katha, or what do we get by reading this Vedic literature, which happened thousands of years ago? Even the sun is very old, but can we live without the sun? Right? Similarly, this Vedic knowledge is very, very ancient. It's very eternal knowledge. But this knowledge is so important because at the end of the day, we are all spirit souls. We are all Jivatmas. And this knowledge is for the Jivatma, for us to enjoy this Leelas. So I will just begin to share. So as we always do, I hope everybody can see. So as I said, we have covered many chapters, beautiful chapters. And just as we always do, just a quick recap that we know that Krishna has come from Vrindavan to Mathura. He has killed Kamsa. And then he not only did that, but after Kamsa, killing Kamsa, his own parents, that means Devaki and Vasudeva, they wanted to have all the joy of taking care of their son because they never had a chance to spend time with Krishna. Now they got him initiated, they got Krishna and Balaram initiated. They recited the Gayatri Mantra. And as part of the formalities, what they did, they had to go and stay in a Gurukul and under the care of a spirit teacher. So they were getting completely trained by his master Sandipan Muni. And we have seen the beautiful Leela of Krishna, that when they were giving so much of a wonderful training, that entire training they just completed in just 64 days. Can you imagine? Because everything is coming from Krishna. Krishna is the source of all the knowledge, right? Sarvasya chaham hridi sandevisto mata smritir jnanam apohanam cha vedaisya sarvaraham avedo vedanta vid veda krudveya chaham. Where Krishna Bhagavan is saying, he's seated in the hearts of all the Jivatmas. Inside all of our hearts, Krishna is seated. And Krishna is seated and he is called as a Chaitya Guru. That means a Guru who is giving all the knowledge from within the heart. So many of the things, spiritual knowledge comes from within. That's the reason why they say in the spiritual world, you should always close your mind, turn inwards, because that is where you have the kingdom of God. You have God sitting inside all of us. And as Chaitya Guru, when he sees that we are so sincere in trying to learn the knowledge about Krishna, he gives us all the entire knowledge from within. So it is very important for us to understand how these beautiful Leelas of Krishna. And we've seen that how Sandipan Muni has given them so much of beautiful trainings they have learned all the arts and sciences in just 64 days and 64 nights. So you can imagine how wonderful, how intelligent Krishna and Balaram, because they're the source of all the knowledge. So Krishna and Balaram, they're the source of all the knowledge, but they were just playing like ordinary human bodies. And this is why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that we all, because Krishna came on the planet, he was just living and he was just being like one of the cowboys. He was cowherd boys out there. He was just like spending time with all the people in Vrindavan. So for them, even though Krishna was doing such great leelas, they were so praising Krishna, but they always looked at Krishna as one among them. They were like, oh, Krishna has gone and killed these demons. Krishna has gone and done so much. They had so much of faith and everything in Krishna, but at the same time, they never treated him like a god. They were like, oh, Krishna is so wonderful. He can do anything. But they always treating him as like one of their own. So because of that, because of in the Vrindavan, and also like we all know about Krishna's beautifully spending time with the gopis and But many people do not know that all these, many of the gopis, they're actually rishis from the time of the sages. They come from the time of Treta Yuga, when Lord Rama was there as well. And so many things, so many beautiful insights of spiritual knowledge we will be getting by diving into this ocean of Krishna Katha. It gives us so many beautiful pearls of knowledge, as well as gives us so many realizations. Because one of the most important thing about Sanatan Dharma, the original name of Hinduism, which is called Sanatan Dharma, is that it is a religion of realization. Realize that you're not this body. Realize that there is a supreme God at the will of which the entire cosmic universe is manifesting and working according to his plan. So realize it's all about realization. Realize that what's your relationship with God, that you are part and parcel of God. So like this, there's so many beautiful realizations that we come to. So we have covered so many beautiful topics about how Krishna and Balaram were getting trained under the guidance of the spiritual master. They learned everything, including how to sing, how to paint, how to military science, the art of doing war, art of how to make peace, and the art of music. And there were so many different things that they managed to do. Pictorial literature, they learned about psychology, so many beautiful things. And I think like sometimes I feel like so much of practical knowledge actually they were given. They were giving like on the job training kind of thing, like everything they were knowing how to do, including how to make carriages and airplanes from flowers. So they were like, had such a wonderful knowledge coming from. And then we also seen that at the end of Gurukul, it is a practice, it is a formality, and it is one of those rituals that are followed that at the end of the Gurukul session, once the students are fully trained, and they were all treated as equal by the teacher. And once they have been trained, given all the necessary qualification to be trained, then they offer as a Guru Dakshina. As you can see over here, they're offering Krishna and Balaram, they're offering their spiritual master Guru Dakshina. What is it that they can do? And when Krishna and Balaram offered this, Sandipani Muni, his teacher, he's consulted his wife and asking them that Krishna and Balaram, they are not, because Sandipani Muni could make out that Krishna and Balaram, they're not ordinary boys. And they were asking in return that they can bring back the return of the son who was drowned in the ocean near the shore of Prabhasha Kshetra. So you can see like many of the gurus, you may ask for some nice things, like, but asking to get back a dead son, imagine what kind of a favor that the teacher was asking the student. But Krishna and Balaram, they are the supreme personality of Godhead. And Balaram is an expansion of Krishna. And so both of them, they go out in search of the son, and then they go to the ocean and they ask them to return back the son. And then they go to Yamaraj, and then they order Yamaraj. He literally orders, can we order the Yamaraj? When at the end of life, we are helplessly in the hands of Yamaraj, and our next destination is not in our hands at all. So whatever we can do in our life, we have to do it. God gives us all the free will, that whatever you want to be given, all the intelligence, mind and intelligence, everything is coming from Krishna. Now it's our free will that Krishna is giving us, do whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day, at the end of life, our life, once it goes away, it's all in the hands of Yamaraj, where will be taken off, and it'll be just according to our karma and about the life that we have led. We could be having the next life will depend on that. But here you can see that even though we are helplessly in the hands of Yamaraj, but when it comes to Krishna, he's working on the orders of Krishna. So as you can see over here, how much Krishna has been asking. Krishna asked him to return his son. Considering my ruling supreme, said Krishna, you should immediately return the son of my teacher. And Yamaraj returned the boy to the supreme Bhagavan Sri Krishna. And then finally they give them to the teacher. So we have covered till here, and then they asked, is there anything else that they can do for the teacher? But the teacher got back a dead son. So what more could he ask for? So he was saying, like, what more can ask for disciples like you? So it's a beautiful, for me, I was like so touched to see like how wonderful it would be. Like, just imagine having a wonderful friend like Krishna, or having someone, a well-wisher like Krishna, who can do anything for us, who is ready to go and even get a dead son for his teacher. That's why Bhagavan Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshi stina priya. Ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya mayi te teshu chapyaham. Krishna is saying, I don't envy anyone, nor am I partial to anyone. Krishna is saying, I don't show any partiality, nor do I envy anyone. But whoever is rendering bhakti towards me, whoever is rendering transcendental loving service towards me, for that kind of a devotee, I will be a friend to him, and I consider that person as a friend to me. Can you imagine such a supreme Bhagavan, personality of Godhead, supreme Bhagavan Sri Krishna, saying that when you offer bhakti towards Krishna, when you are chanting the holy names of Krishna, when you are listening to Krishna Katha, this what you are doing right now is also one of the limbs of bhakti, Shravanam, listening. Krishna says, I'm going to be your best friend. So what more beautiful than we want? And this is what whole Krishna consciousness is about, that we continuously keep on chanting so that we become so conscious of Krishna that we're always thinking about Krishna. And that way, once we get to the lotus feet of Krishna and we have Krishna in our life, no matter how many big problems we encounter in our life, we will still be able to persevere because Krishna is always there for us. And Krishna promises in Bhagavad Gita, Kaunteya Priti Janahi Name Bhakta Pranashyati. Kaunteya, Arjuna, you go and declare to the whole world, a devotee of Krishna will never be perish, will never vanquish, because I will always protect my devotee. So when we have the assurance directly coming from Krishna, who's ready to say that he's going to protect us, why don't we take the first step or bhakti life towards Krishna? So here we have covered this chapter so beautifully, Krishna and Balaram serving their gurus and then returning back to the chariot. This kind of leelas will give us a hope that as he have their served Sandipani Muni, seems similarly, when we develop this beautiful relationship with Krishna, Krishna will always be there for us, that no matter what kind of a problem comes to us, he'll always come and save us from those things. So we have covered till here. Now we are entering into a new chapter called Uddhava visits Vrindavan. And very interestingly, Uddhava, um, there is another something like Bhagavad Gita. There is something called as Uddhava Gita as well. So just like Bhagavan Sri Krishna spoke about Bhagavad Gita on the battlefield of Kurukshetra to his most dearest friend Arjuna, similarly, Krishna Bhagavan, before he left the planet, before he disappears from the planet, he gives his final sermon and final teachings to his most dearest friend Uddhava, and that is called as Uddhava Gita. And that's another beautiful one which is actually talks about where Krishna answers to Uddhava so many questions that were not discussed earlier. They were all raised by Uddhava, and Uddhava raised all these questions, and it is so beautiful because we feel so blessed that Uddhava is asking all those questions in behalf of all of us, and Krishna gives answers to all of them. I was actually looking for the book. I would have kept it in one of these things. Maybe in the next one, I will show the Uddhava Gita as well. It is another wonderful book with a lot of answers. So, from time and again, Krishna Bhagwan himself, Krishna's to Bhagwan Swayam. So, Krishna Bhagwan is Bhagwan, the supreme God himself, who has personally descended on the planet for the mercy, for showing so much of mercy on his devotees to answer all our questions. And Bhagavad Gita is a beautiful conversation where Arjuna is asking all the questions on behalf of all of us. He's asking all the questions. Krishna, please tell me what is this? Please tell me what is this? Please tell me what's the relationship with you? Please tell me why are we suffering like this? Please tell me how to control the mind. So many beautiful questions that Arjuna was asking on behalf of all of us. And Krishna has been patiently answering all the questions. We can learn so many things from Krishna. So here we have another beautiful chapter, which is called as Uddhava visits Vrindavan. I request everyone, all the devotees, let's go through this nectar, beautiful nectar. Every chapter is a beautiful leela of Krishna, where we have so many takeaways. So I will just cover to some extent, and then I will open the forum for us to just discuss and, just have our realizations and all of us, because I think it's night as devotees. This is the forum for all of us to share our heart out, like share and ask questions and see like if there's anything that we can. And we have wonderful senior devotees over here as well, who've been spent many years in Krishna consciousness, who are so kind, always giving us this knowledge as well. So let's do that. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I was just thinking that from next week, maybe, as on our WhatsApp group, we will just put a few things. so that, we can just make it much more inclusive. So maybe one person can just do the prayer, and one devotee can just do the Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. And like that, we'll just take some turns or maybe the reading. So that way we can just all make it much more inclusive and make it more interactive. And I just want to make sure that all of us are getting the chance to just participate in it. And that's how we'll get the nectar, when we just participate in that. But since like many of the devotees are new, I just want to just make you feel comfortable just to get used to this routine, and slowly we can start making ourselves more inclusive and just taking part in it. That way only you can enjoy the nectar. The best way you can enjoy the nectar of Krishna Katha is being part of it. So I'll just start the reading. Nanda Maharaj returned to Vrindavan without Krishna and Balaram. He was accompanied only by the cowherd boys and men. It was certainly a very pathetic scene for the gopis, Mother Yashoda, Srimati Radharani, and all other residents of Vrindavan. Many devotees had tried to make adjustments to Krishna being away from Vrindavan because, according to expert opinion, Krishna, the original supreme personality of Godhead, never goes even a step out of Vrindavan. He always remains there. The explanation of expert devotees is that Krishna was actually not absent from Vrindavan. He came back with Nanda Maharaj as promised. So just to set the scene, as you all know, Kamsa had invited Krishna and Balaram to Mathura. So when Krishna and Balaram went to Mathura from Vrindavan, all the cowherd boys, his father, Nanda Maharaj, and Yashoda Mata, all of them went to Mathura, right? And after Krishna killed Kamsa and after everything was over, now Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, with a heavy heart, because they were not really wanting to leave Krishna and Balaram, but they just went back to their own home, which is in Vrindavan. But it was a very pathetic scene, because the gopis they had so much of a love for Krishna, but because they could not even bear to see that Krishna was leaving them in Vrindavan, right? So they literally went and stopped even the chariot. They said, Krishna, no way, you're not going to leave us at all. We can't live even a second without you. How can you just leave us and go to Mathura? And they were like making all kind of complaints. I know you're going to Mathura and you'll happily get settled down out there. You'll stop thinking about us and things like that. So it was a very pathetic scene, because, and now that gopis are seeing, and Krishna tries to pacify the gopis, right? He tells the gopis, I'm just going on a mission. I'm going to Mathura. Once I finish with the business over there, we will come back. Myself and Balaram, we both will come back. We're not going anywhere. We're just going for a very short while. And that's how Krishna tries to pacify the gopis. But now we see that Krishna and Balaram, what did they say? They told Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, in last week we covered, that they told Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, I know it's going to be very painful to leave without us, but we will finish our business out here. For some more time, we'll just be with our original, mother Devaki and Vasudeva. And then after spending some time with them, we'll just come back. Because Krishna wanted to make sure that in Mathura, they're always there to support the new king, Ugrasena. Ugrasena is Kamsa's father. They just wanted to be there in Mathura just to support Ugrasena, and also to make sure that everything is nicely settled. And then they wanted to go back to Vrindavan. So we can see that Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mataji going without Krishna is like a very pathetic scene, isn't it? Because they're all, and Srimati Radharani also, they're all so eagerly waiting when Krishna is going to come back. But what devotees are saying is that, because Krishna always lives in Vrindavan, there's no way that he could be just leaving. It's only that, as we will be covering in the next paragraph as well. So Krishna is never absent from Vrindavan. They say that actually he came back along with the Nanda Maharaj. When Krishna was starting for Mathura on the chariot driven by Akrura, and the gopis were blocking the way, Krishna assured them that he's coming back just after finishing his business in Mathura, as I was just mentioning. He told them not to be overwhelmed, and in that way pacified them. But when he failed to come back with Nanda Maharaj, it appeared that he had cheated them or could not keep his promise. Expert devotees, however, have decided that Krishna was neither a cheater or a breaker of promises. Krishna, in his original identity, returned with Nanda Maharaj and stayed with his gopis and Mother Yashoda in his bhava expansion. So you can see that, Krishna, like as I said, God is like so powerful that God can expand. So Krishna himself expands as Balaram, right? That very first expansion is Balaram. So here they're saying that, they all, in his bhava expansion, is actually come back to Vrindavan. That's the take of the expert devotees. Krishna and Balaram remained in Mathura, not in their original form, but in their expansions as Vasudeva and Sankarsana. That's the thinking. But actually, when we go deeper into Bhagavatam, we'll get to know like how Krishna is expanding and how Mahavishnu, like, how Krishna expands to Balaram and Balaram expands to Sankarshan, and then again Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and there's so much nectar, right? I mean, down the lane, we can cover all that. But right now, we're just trying to keep up to only to the Krishna Katha. So the real Krishna and Balaram were in Vrindavan in the Baba manifestation, whereas in Mathura, they appeared as Prabhava and Vaibhava expansions. So Krishna, like as I said, can all be expansion in different Babas. And this is the expert opinion of the advanced devotees. Externally, however, they were absent from Vrindavan. Therefore, when Nanda Maharaj was preparing to return to Vrindavan, there was some discussion between him and the boys concerning how they could live in separation. The conclusion to separation was reached by mutual agreement. And as I said, Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, they didn't want to go back without Krishna. But, Krishna and Balaram, they were trying to pacify them, we'll just come back. And Vasudeva and Devaki, who happened to be the actual real parents of Krishna and Balaram, wanted to keep them now because of the death of Kamsa. Because, like I said earlier, Vasudeva and Devaki, they never had a chance to spend time with the Krishna, even though Krishna and Balaram, they are their own children. Because of Kamsa, Kamsa imprisoned, put them in jail, right? Vasudeva and Devaki were in jail. So they were always very, very anxious for Krishna and Balaram. They never had a chance. Now they're trying to live up to all whatever they have lost time that they had, all the beautiful time that they have lost. Now they're trying to make up for it. So while Kamsa was alive, Krishna and Balaram were kept under the protection of Nanda Maharaj in Vrindavan. Now, naturally, the father and mother of Krishna and Balaram wanted them to remain, specifically for the reformatory functions, the sacred thread ceremony. We covered that in the last week, right? They did the Gayatri Mantra and all that initiation ceremony. They also wanted to give them a proper education, for this is the duty of a father. These are the Vedic. You see that in the land of Bharat, in the land of India, right? Everybody, parents, we give so much of importance to education, so much of importance. No matter, even if a parent is poor, even if a parent can't afford, they will do anything in their power to make sure that the children are given the best of education. So you can see from these leelas that all these things are just coming from time immemorial. They're just coming from the time of Dwapar Yoga. We are in Treta Yoga, we are in Kali Yoga, but still all these Vedic culture, everything is just coming from that particular time, which is even being followed even now. So one of the things, according to the Vedic thing, is it's a duty of a father to give an education, for proper education for his children. And another consideration was that all the friends of Kamsa outside Mathura, they were planning to attack Mathura. And for this reason, also Krishna's presence was required. Like as I said, there were two, even the friends of a lot of Kamsa was killed, but again, he would be having so many of his other alliances because there are other dynasties as well, right? So all the people, there's a chance that they may try to attack Mathura in the absence if Krishna and Balaram are not there. But if Krishna is assuring Kamsa's father also that you rule the kingdom, grandfather, and we will be there to protect and they will be there to support Mathura. So Krishna is giving that assurance to his grandfather, saying that, you just run this kingdom and I will be there to support. For that reason, Krishna's presence was required. Krishna did not want Vrindavan disturbed by enemies like Dantavakra and Jarasandha. So Krishna also wanted to make sure that, let's say if he goes to Vrindavan, then there's every chance that the enemies may come and attack Mathura. And slowly after Mathura, they may go to Vrindavan. Because, even if I don't know how many of you have gone to Vrindavan, but again, if you see Vrindavan and Mathura, they're not like super far kind of thing, but something which can be reachable. But again, there's a chance that, that Krishna was being very careful that, they're not going to be attacked by some of these enemies and who may come and disturb even Vrindavan also, which Krishna didn't want it to happen. So Krishna therefore remained in Mathura and Nanda Maharaj went back to Vrindavan. And also the people of Vrindavan, every second of their life, they were always thinking about Krishna, right? They felt the separation from Krishna. The result in the Baba caused them to perceive that Krishna was always present with them by his Leela or pastimes. So this is very, very important, the feeling of separation. We all have this experience, isn't it? When our loved ones are very, very far away, we have so much of love. In that missing of separation also, we're always thinking of our loved ones, right? Because in today's world, all of us, we are in different parts of the world. And sometimes we have our parents in some other country and we are sitting in some other country. So you can imagine how much in that separation, there's more love than actually being in the presence of this loud people. So similarly, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whom I mentioned as Krishna coming in the form of a devotee, he came in that mood of separation, in the mood of Radharani missing Krishna. That's the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, always missing Krishna. And these leelas are so important because they give us an idea, they give us a knowledge that how pure the love of the people of Vrindavan was, how much they loved Krishna. So from these kind of Krishna leelas, we have to take the nectar that this is the kind of a love that we should be looking at. Because Krishna Bhagavan tells in Bhagavad Gita, there are 4 different kind of people who come for devotional bhakti towards Krishna. They go to the temple. One kind of people are, they're in problems and they need some solution, they'll go to God. The other kind of a devotee is someone they're looking for money, wealth, and all these kind of things. Someone who's in pain, someone who's wanting a lot of wealth and opulences, power, position, they go to Krishna. And the third kind of very inquisitive, they just want to know about spirituality, they just have they want to just be inquisitive to know about Krishna. And the fourth kind will be like someone who is searching for the absolute truth, searching for the love of God. So, and out of all the 4 people, Krishna Bhagavan says one who is always in love with Krishna and coming to Krishna only for the sake of love, because he wants to see Krishna. Krishna says that is the most purest and the most deepest love for Krishna. And such kind of a person, Krishna says, that kind of a devotee is very dear to Krishna, and says Krishna is very dear to that kind of a person. So even Krishna wants that kind of a love where we are not expecting material benefits, we are not expecting material things, we are not expecting anything, but we just want to love Krishna for the sake of love. Just like a mother, she just loves the children, that's it. There is no material kind of a selfish reason at all, just the love, pure love, right? The mother's love for the children, that can be like the best example, because it's not tainted with any kind of a material reason at all. She just wants to see her children being happy. So that is the kind of a love. And through these leelas, we can understand that the people of Vrindavan, they had so much of a love for Krishna that all they wanted to is think about Krishna. And if Krishna is not there, they just always thinking about how Krishna used to be and how Krishna used to do his pastimes and things like that. Since Krishna has departed from Vrindavan and gone to Mathura, the inhabitants of Vrindavan, especially the Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, Srimati Radharani, the gopis and cowherd boys, were simply thinking of Krishna at every step. They were thinking, here Krishna was playing in this way, here Krishna was blowing his flute, Krishna was joking with us in this way, Krishna was embracing us like this. This is called Leela Smarana. This is another beautiful word we are coming across today. Smarana means actually remembering, right? But again, Leela Smarana, again, remembering the beautiful Leelas of Krishna. So this is the most important thing, right? When we look at, when we go to the temple or when we're listening to the Krishna Katha, the whole purpose is to develop that personal love towards Krishna by remembering his divine pastime. And these Leelas are so important because, when we think of our loved ones, why do we have so much of love? Because there are so many beautiful memories, right? So we always think about those memories. Oh my God, it was so beautiful when I used to play with my child. I still remember when I was in India, I used to play with my small niece, and today she's grown up as a teenager. And I have so much of love her today, even today, because those memories of those beautiful times. Oh, she grew up in my hands. I used to take her to the beach. So those kind of things. So similarly, when you hear about Krishna Katha and you have these beautiful leelas, how Krishna was playing the flute, how Krishna was protecting the people of Vrindavan from all these demoniac people, how Krishna was even taking his friends on his back and he was just playing beautiful games with them. All these beautiful things they form the part of the Leela Smarana. And very interestingly, even if you go to Vrindavan, even now, they will show you, if you take a monk, they will show you this is the place where Krishna and Balaram used to have their lunch. And those places are still there in Vrindavan. If you can, even today, if you go to Vrindavan, they will show you this is the place where Krishna used to play with the Balaram in this sand. This is the place where they used to eat their afternoon lunch. This is the place where they used to go up. And this is the place in Govardhan Hill where they used to do all these leelas. And this is the place where Mother Yashoda used to make butter for Krishna in the Nanda Bhavan. All those places are still there. So, as Krishna devotees, we should always read this Krishna Katha, and one fine day we should go to Vrindavan. we should go to Vrindavan and you should take the Krishna book and read through that and go through those experiences and see, like, oh my God, we covered this in Krishna Katha and now we are seeing this in real life, that this is where Krishna was playing. And so you still had the place where Mother Yashoda used to make butter for Krishna. That still is there. You know, they show you like on the ceiling. See, this is where she used to keep that steak and she used to make churn the butter. So like that, so many beautiful memories. So when we have that kind of a knowledge of this nectar of Krishna Katha, then you start developing love for Krishna, that personal love for Krishna. And that is what Krishna likes. Krishna likes all of us to have that personal relationship. And that's the reason why he has done all these leelas, so that we will develop that personal love for Krishna. And it is in the process of association with Krishna and most recommended by great devotees, Leela Smaran. Even Lord Chaitanya, who's none other than Krishna Bhagwan as a devotee, who came as a devotee, when he was in Puri, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Puri, he enjoyed this Leela Smarana association with Krishna. Those in the most exalted position of devotional service and ecstasy can live with Krishna always by remembering his pastimes. And one of the great devotee of Krishna, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, has given us the transcendental literature called Krishna Bhavamrita. There's a book actually which is called Krishna Bhavamrita, which is full of Krishna's pastimes. It must be so beautiful, isn't it? Of all Krishna Leelas. And exalted devotees can remain absorbed in Krishna thought by reading such books. Any book of Krishna Leela, even this book Krishna, or our teachings of Lord Chaitanya, is actually a solace for devotees feeling separation from Krishna. So we can imagine, like, so how beautiful these things are. And maybe someday we should get hold of this book of Krishna Bhavamrita. What more Leelas are there in Krishna? That Krishna and Balaram did not return to Vrindavan can be adjusted as follows. They did not break their promise to return to Vrindavan, nor were they absent, but their presence was necessary in Mathura. So basically what Krishna and Balaram have told Nanda Maharaj, and they, as well as they told even gopis, is that we are going to come back from Mathura to Vrindavan, but just give us some time because we are trying to sort out some things over here, because their presence is necessary. Like I said, there's so many people who are coming to attack Mathura. So Krishna and Balaram wanted to make sure everything is. In the meanwhile, now another Leela is, another beautiful nectar is going to come, is happening. And this is for the first time we're covering this. With Uddhava, we haven't never covered in the Krishna Katha. So now we are just sharing that in today's session. In the meantime, Uddhava, a cousin brother of Krishna, came to see Krishna from Dwarka. He was the son of Vasudeva's brother and was almost the same age as Krishna. His bodily features resembled Krishna almost exactly. After Krishna returned from his teacher's home, he was pleased to see Uddhava, who happened to be his most dearest friend. Krishna wanted to send him to Vrindavan with a message to the residents to pacify the deep feeling of separation. So as we can see, like now another new Leela is going to be unfolding now. And this Leela is about Uddhava, the cousin of Krishna, cousin brother of Krishna, who has actually, it's very interesting to see that Uddhava was almost looking like Krishna. So you can imagine the bodily features. He was looking exactly like Krishna. And Krishna was very happy to see his cousin brother. All of us, many of us, we have our cousins. It's always nice, isn't it? When we see our cousin, we feel like, wow, I'm meeting my cousin after a long time. So here, Uddhava is meeting Krishna after a long time. But Krishna was very keen because he knows that the people of Vrindavan are missing Krishna so much. They just want Krishna to come back from Mathura. So, and Krishna could understand how much they must be missing. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Ye yata mam prapajyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham. Where Krishna Bhagwan is stating, what is the meaning of this sloka in Bhagavad Gita? Ye yata mam prapajyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham means Krishna is saying, according to the level of surrender, that you have, I also reciprocate accordingly. So it is not that love is always two ways, isn't it? So Krishna is saying, if you show so much of love towards me, if you have left something for me, so many people, they say like, I'm going to do fasting for Krishna like this. So some people say, I'm going to leave all these things just for the sake of Krishna. Some people say like, I'm going to do every Ekadasi fasting for Krishna. Like that, Krishna says, as you take the steps towards Krishna, as you do sacrifices for Krishna, as you show your love towards Krishna, Krishna is saying, I also respond accordingly. It's not that you do your seva for Krishna and Krishna forgets it. Prabhupada, our spiritual master, used to always say Krishna has an accountant. He's keeping an account of every small thing that you do towards devotion. If you're doing a little bit of bhakti, if you're doing a chanting for Krishna, if you're doing anything for Krishna, Krishna says, Prabhupada used to say that Krishna always has an account. He's keeping note of everything that we are doing. Many times we fear God. We fear God. We don't love God. We fear God. Oh my God, God is going to punish us. God is going to do this. God is going to do that. But actually, Krishna is not at all looking at our mistakes. In fact, he goes on to say that even if you are one of the sinner or the worst sinner, if you're still doing a little bit of bhakti, I consider you as a sadhu, as a saint. So that's how kind Krishna is. But at the same time, if you offer one flower, Krishna immediately say, I seen it, I seen it, I seen that you offered a flower, I seen that you offered a fruit to me, and I'm going to reciprocate the love that you showed. That's how kind Krishna is. He's just looking for a little bit of love. Neha Bikramanasosti Pratyavayo na vidyate. Swalpam abhyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhavat. A little bit of service is what Krishna is expecting. And he says that will save us from the most dangerous kind of fears in our life. So as the gopis, and Krishna is very responsive, right? He is always responding to his devotees. He responds in proportion to the devotees' advancement in devotional service. And like as people, sometimes they say if Krishna loves everything, then he's going to take away all the other things that are coming in the way. Basically, the point is, many a times, many a times we want to do bhakti towards Krishna, but we have so many obstacles, isn't it? There's somebody saying that, oh, why are you doing this? There'll be people who are discouraging you. There'll be people who are just putting thorns in your way. There'll be people who are always distracting you. There'll be friends who are always saying, okay, let's go ahead and enjoy yourself. Why God? Let's go and enjoy ourselves somewhere. There's so many distractions, right? But as you keep making steps towards Krishna, as you keep advancing in Krishna, what Krishna will do is, he will slowly remove all your obstacles, everybody who's coming in the way between you and Krishna. As you keep developing love for Krishna, Krishna will remove all these obstacles that are coming in the way of you and Krishna. So he will make sure that all your way towards Krishna is so beautiful that you can just spend all your time in loving devotion. And then when your Atma, the Jivatma inside, it is like bursting with joy of Krishna, then you will not have any need for any kind of material things. You will not be bothered at all because you're already bursting with joy and bliss inside. And that was what being experienced by the gopis whenever they see Krishna. Thus, as the gopis were thinking of Krishna in separation 24 hours a day, so Krishna was always thinking of the gopis, Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, and other residents of Vrindavan. So you see, through the Krishna Katha, we can get to know that when we are always thinking of Krishna, Krishna is always thinking about us. How do I deliver this devotee? How do I get this devotee back to to Krishna Loka? How do I get him back to my supreme planet? Like that, Krishna is also making plans. But we all have to do is just pray to Krishna. Krishna, please, I'm doing my best. Give me your grace. Although he's prepared to be away from them, Krishna could understand how they were transcendently aggrieved. And so he immediately wanted to send Uddhava to give them a message of solace. You see, Krishna is so kind. He understood that the people of Vrindavan, his cowherd friends, his parents, Radharani, Gopika, everybody they were just missing him. See, the people of Vrindavan, what we have to learn, it's all pure love. They had no other thing but just love for Krishna. They just wanted to see Krishna, and that just the smiling face of Krishna. That itself was made their life so happy. Uddhava is described as the most exalted personality in the Vrishni dynasty, being almost equal to Krishna. He was a great friend of Krishna's and being a direct student of Brihaspati, the teacher and the priest of the heavenly planets. He was very intelligent and sharp in decisions. Intellectually, he was highly qualified. Krishna, being his very loving friend, wanted to send Uddhava to Vrindavan just to study the highly elevated ecstatic devotional service practiced out there. Even if one is highly elevated in material education, and even if he is even a disciple of Brihaspati, the great sage, he still has to learn from the gopis and the other residents of Vrindavan how to love Krishna to the highest degree. So the highest benchmark, like in our IT field or in many fields, they say we talk about a benchmark, like what's the benchmark? What's the kind of standard that's being set? So the highest benchmark with the highest standard of love, pure devotional love, is the gopis. They were just thinking 24/7. And Krishna wanted to send Uddhava just to pass on this message that he's going to be coming very soon. just to pacify them, just to give them some solace that, yeah, don't worry, Krishna is going to be coming from Mathura. And also, like, because as you can see from this chapter, that from this paragraph, that Uddhava is being like a highly intelligent person. And it is so important for us to understand in the same Uddhava, who's so highly intellectual and highly qualified. So he had a lot of questions to Krishna. Krishna, why did the Pandavas, play this game of dice? Why didn't you step in at that point of time? Why didn't you do like this? Why didn't you? So he had so many questions, and that forms Bhagavad Gita. And maybe someday we should cover that as well. I got that as a gift from one of the devotees, and yeah, it's such an amazing thing. So yeah, it's an ocean, it's an endless ocean, isn't it, to learn about Krishna. So we can see that Krishna wants to send Uddhava so that even though he was highly intellectually qualified, he was very intelligent and sharp, but what is required to understand Krishna is bhakti. And Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, the only way you can understand Krishna is through bhakti life, only through love, only through the bhakti life, only through love you can understand Krishna, no other way. I used to always say that when it comes to understanding God, if you apply the logic of your mind, you will miss the magic of God, and that will be the tragic of life. So never try to apply logic on Krishna. Krishna can be only understood through love. When you sing a beautiful song for Krishna, when you're trying to fall in love with Krishna by reading Krishna Katha, when you're trying to chant Krishna's name, that is how Krishna is going to respond to us. He's not looking at how intelligent we are in this material world. That no matter how intelligent you are and how much money you make, end of the life, with time, everybody gets old, and with the time, we all have to leave, and we have to leave everything material over here. But in Bhakti life, every small thing that you have done, it is there in your Lakshmi Narayan account. Nothing gets lost. The difference between material life and spiritual life is that in material life, no matter how many billions you make, once you leave, you have to leave all your stuff over here and you have to go. And whatever, and again, you start your life from the scratch, and again, you do everything like a new project in another life. But in spiritual world, what happens is every small step that you do in Bhakti life, once you end over here, Arjuna asks Krishna, what about people who are doing Bhakti life and suddenly their life comes to an end? What will happen to their life? And Krishna says, Arjuna, in Bhakti life, in spirituality, nothing gets lost. In the next life, they will start from wherever they have left off. So it's not like they start in material life, everything has to start from the scratch. Like a project is over, again, another project from the start. But in spiritual life, wherever you have left off, you take off again from there in your next life. And that's the reason why you can see like some people, they can understand spirituality just like that, and they just take off from there at a young age. And some people, it takes some time, because all this is happening because of what they have practiced in the previous life. But now this beautiful life, if you can spend your time to engage in Krishna Bhakti and take some small baby steps also towards Krishna. And Krishna will take giant steps towards us to make sure we are there with him. So this is where I just wanted to stop over here, because here we're talking about Krishna trying to send Uddhava. And if there's any comments or anything from anyone, I just wanted to pause over here and see like if there's anything that anyone wants to mention based on the first part of the chapter that we covered. Any realizations, any comments, anything is fine. Feel free to just speak out. Anything is fine, or even.
Prabhuji, this is Momita here.
Hare Krishna.
I think, Hare Krishna. I just felt like when you were talking about Krishna and how he took care of the gopis, right? And at one point you did mention that the gopis are basically reincarnation of sadhus. So I mean, in a way, they are also equally empowered souls. But it just reflects the fact that when Krishna loves us, he how far he goes, he goes out of the way to take care of them. Um, so I feel like it's a realization that his love for us
Yes.
is so personal. I would say it's just one-on-one.
Very well, person. That's a beautiful realization. In fact, you should understand coming from South India, I grew up praying to Vishnu, right? To Tirupati Balaji. That's our family deity, and we are always used to go there. And I used to always think how do I convince my mind toward Krishna, and from coming from Vishnu background kind of thing, as a devotee of Vishnu. And a very beautiful answer that the devotees give is that The difference between Vishnu and Krishna is like this. Vishnu is your father on duty. He's always he's managing the entire universe and he's doing everything. Everything is being done by him. But Krishna is like your father at home. Vishnu is like your father on job. When father is in on working, that's Vishnu. When your father is at home, it's Krishna. So when your father is at home, how would you be? No matter your father is like the president of the country or anything, but when he's come at home, he's happily spending his time with his children, isn't it? So similarly, like that, Krishna, even though he's the supreme Bhagwan, Krishna's to Bhagwan Swayam, like Brahma himself says, Krishna, you are the original supreme personality of God. There is nothing which is beyond. And Krishna Bhagwan himself says in Bhagavad Gita, everything is, there's beyond Krishna, there is nothing. He's the ultimate superior personality of Godhead. But then, as you said, we all have a beautiful relationship. So this relationship is like having relationship with a father at home. Because at father at home, any father, no matter how powerful he is on his job, when he comes home, he just like relaxed, right? He's always having a loving time with his family. So like that, Krishna is our relationship, and these beautiful leelas with the gopis and all that is to give us an idea. This is how our relation with Krishna is. This is like just like how Krishna was spending time with the people of Vrindavan. They never looked at him as a god. They used to always think of, yeah, our Krishna, yeah, Krishna can kill demons, but Krishna is there for us. For them, he's just like one among them. And Krishna wants that kind of a love. Not to keep Krishna somewhere in the deity and just worship him and all there and just like a checklist. Okay, I put my prayers. Okay, you give me this. I'm going to put money in the hundi. Okay, you give me this and I'll go back. No, that's not the kind of love. Krishna wants us to be very, very personal. He just wants us to just sing for him. He just wants us to have a chat with him. He just wants us to chant his name. He just wants to have that loving relationship. And that's the reason why he does all these leelas. Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya tu duskritam dharma samsthapanardaya sambhavi. He comes for two reasons. One, for the love of his protection of his devotees, but also the love of his devotees. And that's supposed to, as you rightly said, these gopis are setting a standard to just give us this knowledge that when you are in a loving relationship with Krishna, Krishna always responds. Many of you coming from India, you would know about Pandarinath, who's Krishna Bhagavan himself, who's standing on a brick waiting for that boy to come back after taking care of his father. So like that, so many beautiful leelas are there. You would have heard about Sakshi Gopal, where Krishna Bhagavan himself stood as a witness to a transaction that happened between an old man and a person whom he gave a word that he's going to give his daughter in marriage. So like that, there's so many beautiful leelas of Krishna. And Krishna, you can see, even in Mahabharata, you can see like how when Draupadi was just lifted a hand and prayed to Krishna, how he immediately came and just helped her. And in like that, when Arjuna was so much in grief, what did he do? He went and spoke a whole of Bhagavad Gita. And similarly, when Uddhava, before Krishna left, he said, Krishna, I have some questions for you. Krishna said, okay, speak out. Then Uddhava asked all his questions. Like Krishna went and answered all that also, so that all of us, we will get this knowledge through Uddhava also. So in every way, he's coming and trying to give us this knowledge to tell us, like, I love you so much. And I want all of you to understand that you're all part and parcel of him. Pitaham asya jagato mata data pitamaha vedyam pavitram omkara riksam rejura. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that I'm your father, I'm your mother, I'm your original eternal father and eternal mother. As long as we have a body, we have a mother and father, but internally we have a Jivatma, and that Jivatma belongs to the Paramatma. And that's why he says, Mamaivamsa Jiva Bhuta, Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta, Sanatana, Mana Shastrin Indriyani, Prakriti Sani Karshiti. That you are all part and parcel of me. And we all have a beautiful, loving relationship. And when you get the taste of that loving relationship, all other things in this material world, they'll just fade away. And once you have developed that kind of love, Krishna will personally is assuring in Bhagavad Gita saying that Sarvadharman Parichajya Mamekam Saranam Raja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshisyami. Whatever sins you have done in so many thousands and thousands of lifetimes, don't worry about all that. I will cancel all your sins that you have done for so many lifetimes, and I'll take you back to Krishna Loka. That's the love of Krishna. But wonderful, Namita ji, realization. Very nice, very nice. That's what I would like to hear from everyone. Just a realization, comments. Feel free. Like this, we are a loving family of Krishna. We can speak anything. Amoga Prabhu, anything you want to add? Ratan Prabhu, anyone else? I'm just being conscious of the time that it's 9, so I was just thinking maybe we can stop here and then Uddhava's one we can cover again in our next one as well.
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yeah, that little correction actually. Vishnu and Krishna is same but not same. Both are correct. It's
Yes.
not same and not same, because you can read also Krishna books in chapter 89. What happened? You can find the story about one Brahmana, his children died, and then the Brahmana accused to the king. At that time, if anything wrong, they can accuse to the king. You can find the story about it, but the
Sure,
point
sure.
is,
When we come to
the
that.
interesting point is, Mahavishnu took these children.
Mm.
Then Mahavishnu was waiting to see Krishna.
Mm.
So that is why sometimes we confuse Vishnu and Krishna. Is the same at the same time is not the same.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You have to, the Krishna is an expansion of Krishna, but
Thanks.
it's not the same, because Krishna has 64 qualities, no one else.
Yes, yes.
No one else. No other avatar, no other avatar, guna avatar, lila avatar, no one else.
We go up to
Only
60.
Krishna has unique quality.
Yeah, yeah.
So that is why it's not the. It is right as a partly that is he's officially as a Vishnu, as a official working, doing everything, maintaining everything, but Krishna is different.
Yes, definitely. In fact, I think that's the reason why when I speak about Gita, also I just mention about Paritirana Sadhana, because many times in India also we heard about like a lot of incarnations come from Vishnu. But then again, if you get into Bhagavatam, it takes as we get more deeper into that, we can talk about expansions and how Krishna expands himself into many other incarnations, and as Balram and Sankarshana, and from there Vishnu and things like that. But for now, just to keep it at a broad level, I was just mentioning about how we can just see like in terms of like Vishnu and Krishna as such. But it's a beautiful point, Prabhuji, that we're going to be covering anyway shortly as we go in through the chapters. But as always, Ratan Prabhu, thank you for the inputs. It's wonderful. Sanchit Marji, Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining. Kritika Namarji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the wonderful class as always, and especially Uddhav and his contribution to this Krishna Leela is one of the most important ones. So,
Yes.
good to hear it and complete it next week. It was really nice. And
definitely. We are going to complete. We're going to complete the rest of the chapter of Uddhava next week. I just wanted to go slow and just observe what we covered last week, and just also add a bit more nectar into just diving into the Uddhava one. But I'm sure like that's another beautiful Leela that's going to be coming up, and how what Uddhava learns from
what Uddhav absorbed. That's like for us to understand. I mean, very subtle and I mean, as Mahimaji, she was mentioning that the gopis, they are so learned. They were the Vedic scholars at the time, and in Ram's Leela, but they wanted but when you're like scholars, relations are more formal, right? So they really wanted to come here to have that person, as you were mentioning, to be part of that Leela, like to be more, to be able to tease, to be able to serve devotional service, so maybe more involved in that. That's why the gopis go, and Krishna fulfilled their wish so that the gopis, they could be like as close as like a personal relation. That's the reason they were there. And the knowledge, because when we were reading chapter 29 or 30, I think they mentioned so many times that we know that you're the supreme personality of Godhead. We know that you are here. They knew that they belong to Vasudev and Devaki. They were aware of many things, but still they behaved like normal Vrajvasis to be enjoying the leelas as they were unfolding. So having those saintly qualities, but still absorbing the transcendental mellows of the pastime. So that's so beautiful. Like we until we read this book, we don't realize. We think that the gopis are like simple girls, like not so educated and all, but as we go through the chapters, we realize that they were so much superior. And when Krishna left them, when the gopis they had the Ras Leela and they were feeling very proud, then why Krishna left them? They knew that Krishna left us because we were proud. So it's not. I mean, that's what, like, they're aware of everything. Yeah, but still they want the like. I mean, to behave, look more humanly, if I could say. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
That's so sweet. I mean, those parts of the subtleness is like so beautiful when you absorb that. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, definitely. It's a wonderful point, actually. Like, yeah, the gopis have really set the highest standard. And like, as you said, they knew everything. Like in those days, we were covering like Akrura. We covered so many people. Like each of them during those times, they were so knowledgeable, isn't it? Even Vasudeva, when he was trying to pacify Kamsa, he was so knowledgeable. He was like trying to give all the spiritual reasons why Kamsa shouldn't kill them and things like that. So it's like some of these things are very, very divine in terms of like how much of nectar is there. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're rightly said. Smriti Kanamathiji, anything to add? Sorry,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji, so much. Very nectarian to hear. I just wanted to add something on Uddhava.
Yes.
So Uddhava is an exalted devotee that Krishna only mentions. Natatami priyatama atmayonihi nasankaraha nacha sankashino nashrihi na evatma cha yata bhavan. When he is speaking to Uddhava, he says, Natatami Pretama, I do not have any dear friends more than you, like Atmayonihi, Brahma, Nacha Sankarshana, Nasankaro, Nach Sankarshana, Nashrihi, Lord Shankara or Sankarshana or Balarama or Lakshmi Devi. Even by myself, you are more dear to me than anyone else. Likewise, he mentions. So that is the now we are seeing why Krishna has sent Uddhava to gopis there. And Krishna mentions in the other point to gopis, Maya bhaktirhi bhutanam amrutatvaya kalpate. My devotional service to me, it is amrutatvaya kalpate. It is a nectarian. It is ever leavening. So he says, Disnya madasim yasneho madapan. He says, madapanaha. He says that I left you, O gopis, because to encourage you to attract towards me, to absorb with my thoughts. Disya masneho madapanaha. So by being closely with me in my mind, you will be more dearer to me. So likewise, Krishna mentions to gopis during that Rasa period when they were Krishna returned back after some time. So this is why Gopi's mood is more exalted than anyone else.
Yes, yes. I think, yes, wonderful, Amaga Prabhu. I think as we're going to cover in the coming, the next week, I think we're going to see some of this nectar as well. But as always, adding some nectar from Bhagavatam also is really amazing. Thanks so much, Amaga Prabhu. That's really wonderful. Just a little bit of it almost feels like a teaser before, we covered that part when Uddhava actually goes to Vrindavan and sees the experiences with the gopis and how much of love. So Krishna is, I think, through all these leelas, giving us this knowledge that most exalted are the gopis who had so much of love for Krishna. Definitely. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Just can I add little thing more?
Yeah, Prabhuji, please.
Yeah, actually, Uddhava, to understand Uddhava, actually Krishna was giving lesson. Although Uddhava was a great dear friend of Lord Krishna, but he wants to tease about Uddhava. Uddhava feeling that he is the greatest, to show that how should be greatest in nature. So that is why here also, to understand also, to have the characteristics of the messenger, what qualities should be. So that is a messenger should observe, not to tell anything, only observe. The mood of visiting some, that is Akrura. Hear about something, mood of Akrura. Arjuna, mood of Arjuna. And feeling something about Krishna, that is Gopis. And regretting something, that is Indra. Bimohini or whatever the misunderstand, missed it, they're Brahma. So this has to be, you have to understand about this Leela, about it. So here actually Uddhava Gita or Uddhava understanding is much deep, only to observation. People has to give message someone, but not to give direct, to give message. Even Uddhava did not say anything, only observe, observe and observe. Nothing. And with observing such kind deeply observation, he realized his mood, his understanding, and without giving any message, he collected all the messages. So as a messenger, his quality should be, mood should be high level up, thinking of deep meditation to where I have collecting the message and where I have to give the message, which profession I have to give the message, with which mood. And because if I going back that messenger, what I will tell to them, which mood. So everything we have to collect, everything properly in the deep deep meditation, deep understand, deep engaging everything, our senses, not only our senses, not only mind, more than that, to thinking about our messenger.
Yeah, absolutely. No, wonderful, Ratan Prabhu. I think it's so apt that the way you mentioned, like how to be a good listener, like Arjuna, and how to be a good observer, like Uddhav. So it's like almost feels like a nice teaser to our next session. But wonderful, Ratan Prabhu. Your realizations have always been so nice to be. Even I feel so nice to just listen to some of the realizations that are coming up. So thank you so much, Ratan Prabhu. As always, pure nectar from your side. Sorry, anyone else? Smita Kanamataji, if there's anything, please feel free to share. Amit, yeah. Amit Prabhuji, I hope you had a good session. Yes, we just wanted to make sure we just take it slow by slow so that we can absorb the nectar rather than doing it in one go, so just being conscious of the time and just making sure we absorb this the nectar, because there's so much of takeaways in the coming chapters from this Krishna Katha. Anil Prabhu, Ramesh Ji, Hare Krishna. Sorry, we didn't, yeah, we must have joined a bit later. Hare Krishna. Momita Ji, Hare Krishna. Yeah, if there's no further ones, I think maybe for today, we will just stop at this, and we will next week, we'll just cover the remaining part of Uddhava's, like how Krishna is sending Uddhava to Vrindavan to give some solace to them. And then we will cover that chapter, we'll complete that, and we will just move on to the next chapter. So just want to thank everyone for all your precious time. I know it's a weekday and we have another day coming up tomorrow, but still you took some time to listen to Krishna Katha. It's every time you come and listen to Krishna Katha, you are just getting closer to Krishna. That's all I can say. And then listening in the association of devotees is always very, very auspicious. We have wonderful devotees like Ratan Prabhu, Sanchit Mataji, and also Amoga Prabhuji. So it's a really, we should make best use of this opportunity. And as we have more devotees who are joining us in manner and joining us like this in our Sangha, like as I said, there's so many other programs that are happening, and I have posted them in the Bhagavad Gita as this WhatsApp group. So please, by all means, just look at it. And if you're feeling comfortable, you can just join Bhagavad Gita class on Saturday. We have morning chanting sessions as well. So by all means, this is all Sanchit Mataji, Ratan Prabhu. They're all part of our bigger group. So as we keep joining the sanghas, you can be part of all the other programs as well. And this is how we become a part of a big Krishna family, and then you will get to know so many things about Krishna Leelas and engage yourself. And that way you can upgrade yourself into the next higher bhakti life and try to know more about Krishna Bhagavan. So yeah, thank you very much everyone for your association. I feel very humbled that I have your association today. And
thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Today also is still we are it is as a Nityananda Trayadashi, is
yes.
expansion of Lord Krishna.
Yes.
We have to also getting mercy from Nityananda.
Yes.
Nityananda, our Adi Guru. So
Yes,
it's
yes.
very wonderful, and it's really very nice to hear from your voice, your consistent way you are preaching. Lovely. It's wonderful. It's a really excellent way whenever we are hearing from you. Thank you, Prabhu.
Prabhuji. You're so kind. My only sincere thing, like I feel so joyful whenever I see all of us, Prabhuji. We have come a long journey, Ratan Prabhu, together, and now we are sharing with our other devotees who are newly joined us in Manna as well. So our journey, let's hope that this is a long journey towards Krishna and a wonderful, sweet journey towards Krishna as well. So yeah, thank you everyone. Hare
So
Krishna.
that note,
Thank
yeah,
you
on that
very
note, I'll
much.
just ask everybody to unmute and please say 3 loud Hari Bol to Shyam Prabhu.
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Hari
Hari Bol.
Bol.
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Vanchakalpatarabhyasat kripa sindhu.
Darshan Jagacha Patikanang Pavanabhyo
Pavani
Vaishnavadvai Namo Namo Ananta Koti
Koti
Bhaktivinoda
Vaishnav ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you very much, and sorry for the delay in the beginning. Sorry. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you.
Nothing wrong, everything was
Hare
fine.
Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
all the devotees.